Well, hello there. This is Louis, aka Louis the Frenchmanette, and you're watching Schmoedown Night in Canada. All right, before we begin, hey, I just got to remind you guys, for those who are watching and are not subscribed, subscribe, click that notification button, or even just press a like, okay? It would really, really mean a lot to us, especially to Dave. He works so hard, he wants subscribers.
Please,
all right.
I live on subscribers.
Okay, so before we start, squash berries. All right. So we have a lot of content, a lot of content today. What amazing matches. We're going to start with the ice pick and Irwin. Look, I'm just curious, Dave. I think I already know the answer, but what was your gut telling you?
My gut going into this match, obviously, you never... Going into a match, I can never bet against Ethan Irwin. But Vinny Mancuso had a strong showing against Sabrina Ramirez. And Ethan Irwin, he's not a guy who often gets perfect first rounds. And spoilers, he doesn't in this round either. And getting that perfect first round is so important in singles, especially because there's less points up for grabs. So I thought we were going to get a scrap. I did not see... what transpiring. How about you?
Yeah, this for me was a no-brainer. I mean, sorry, Ice Pick really, he has good potential. He's with a manager friend that fits him perfectly, but he's not that kind of caliber. And unless you really get lucky, and it's just one of those days, right? For Irwin, it could happen, but I didn't see it going that way, and it didn't. And for the whole Irwin thing for round one, right? That goes to show me the conversation I had with the kid. If you haven't watched it, by the way, North Consultations, the kid, amazing interview. Don't miss it. But my conversation with the kid, something clicked. There are player styles, right? There's the perfect the perfect rounders. You got people who are really strategy based on the wheel or challenges. There's some just generally good over across the board and not standing out in every round. Like they're not round 2 specialists, they're not round 1, but they're good overall enough to dominate. That is Ethan Irwin for me. He is someone that doesn't specialize in a type of strategy, just such a brain for movies that he dominates compared to an Oyama or a kid that really goes book smarts and does a bit of research, but has his own way of playing that really makes him specialize in certain things. Irwin, he doesn't seem he likes the game, but he's not a student of the game. But he's knowledgeable enough to put to shame a lot of people.
Yeah, and I know we're gonna get into the match. I would push back against that a little bit because I find that Ethan Irwin's strength really falls in round 2. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he often goes 8 for 8, and I very, very rarely do you get the chance to steal on Ethan Irwin, especially in singles where, like we see in this match and several others, steals in singles when there's not as many points available, like I said, can be so important. And if you're going up against someone like Ethan Irwin, who's not going to let you steal, I think that's really where Ethan's danger lies.
Yeah, no, for sure. He might not be that a big of a steal beast as me. Let's say Parker. Parker, for me, stealing game was amazing, but steals he is good. But you still have to admit he's a generalist. If we're looking like in hockey terms, like you got your grinders, you got your playmakers, you got snipers, but then you got your generalists, like the 2 forward players, right? They're good offense, defense, but don't really specialize into something. And that's for me in Irwin, which is as dangerous, even more dangerous, because it's kind of hard to attack to see how you approach that kind of player,
No, it's really tough. And I feel like the teaming with Sam, despite this is only the 3rd match we've seen of him since he's teamed up with Sam.
Yeah.
The teaming there has really shown how scary Ethan Irwin can be. Because we see a little bit later in this match, Vinny Mancuso is going to get opponent's choice. In the past, we've seen Ethan not know what to do with an opponent's choice because he's not studying. But similar to someone like a Mark Andreyko, I think quarantine, not being able to leave your house, has really made it so that Ethan has been able to put the time in and learn the game. Not that Mark Andreyko didn't know the game, it's just he's become, he has gone on record that since quarantine started, he's watched every Schmoedown match ever. So I think Ethan being paired with Sam, someone who is probably top 3 strategist, knows the game super well, is a deadly combination, and we're finally seeing it.
Yeah, definitely deadly combination. It's funny, like Sam seems to be I don't know if he's able to handle them like for a long period of time. We will see eventually, but he likes the low key players, right? Look at the Godfather, look at Irwin. He likes that very mellow, just no bullshit, straight to the chase, dare to just destroy people and and not be big personalities and take their forces and add little things to, the Godfather at the beginning was very stoic, to at the end, he was a presence, and the way he carried himself and the love he got from Sam and the game, right? And I think it's going to happen with Ethan Irwin. He definitely found a perfect match, but it's to be seen if that carries out, because Sam, he needs something, he's not dungeon. Well, we'll talk about dungeon, but he's not dungeon level, but it's a near contention right now. But if I can go now to the dungeon, okay. So if Murphy, Murphy's Law, he's sitting on his couch. He just discovered YouTube this season. Like, what is this YouTube? And then Schmoedown, obviously YouTube and Schmoedown goes together, and
obviously,
first match he watches is the dungeon, and he's like, I like this Kaiser guy. I'm gonna fuck his luck. Well, that's what's happening. Kaiser has the worst circumstances and bad lucks when he spun away, and then he's like, yes, cool. Finally, someone's listening to me, and then stops at opponent's choice. I think that's what it looks like to have someone just like have no more soul.
Yeah.
Because he looked lifeless. Poor guy, man.
He does. And this is something that it's not an original take of mine, but Kaiser and Dagnino especially are two guys who have not, their managerial styles, here's a cat, have not translated to the digital age, where I feel like you hear Zipper and Oyama and Smets talk about last season how Kaiser was such a presence in the studio. I feel like the digital age has not suited him well, where he doesn't have that. He's tapping you on the shoulders, like, yeah, we're gonna get this. So I think the first person to feel that loss of connection is Kaiser, and then because Kaiser's not feeling that energy, that fluidity of being in studio, he's translating that low energy to, you can't eat my cords, to the players that he's going into. And I think we're seeing that in almost all of his matches, the exception obviously being with Eric Zipper, who was getting exactly what he wanted the entire time. And it's easy to pump someone up when they're getting what they want. Yeah, get out of here.
No, I completely agree. And the flip side, Winston seems to be made for online, right? And everything clicked when he started being online, and that's what's the crazy part about this game. It's evolving so much now. Now I can say there's, managers are good in studio play, and the managers are good in webcam play. That sounds wrong. But certain managers are good over the internet play, and it's going to create managerial styles and really, have forces and really put in debate what matches you put online now, what matches you put in studio. because it opens up a door for someone who lives in, let's say, I don't know, New York, and couldn't go to LA every time. You got the online matches. You open up your reservoirs, your floodgates for players you would not normally get, and hence maybe superstars like a Kevin Smith or a Chris Jericho, right? So you really open up, but then you also get managers who are good in online but completely suck in studio, and vice versa, like we see with Kaiser.
Yeah, I don't know that they'll ever have that kind of divide. I think the moment that LA stops being a hot spot for both COVID and wildfires, and apparently snowstorms like they got on the day we're recording today, I don't, because the other leagues are like that, I think the moment they can get into studio, all matches will be studio again. I don't think there will be that level of disconnect.
I hope they don't go that way, because again, I'm starting to enjoy the online ones. It's a different vibe. Certain players seem to be doing better online, right? So I just hope, maybe not half, but you might have some matches that, instead of casting it or changing your opponent, you do online. It could work, especially like I said, you want to open up your floodgates for new competitors, not always recycling. We're going almost on a 100-player roster, right? Yeah. Every year now. So to keep up 100 players that are relevant, that is hard to get everyone in one spot in LA. You have to start going nationwide. Nationwide right now, the easiest thing is webcam.
That's fair, and I think it's a bigger conversation for another day. I don't want to get distracted from just how fantastic this match really was because I think going back to it for a second and getting into the actual match itself, like Vinny, despite being this is his second singles match ever, he really, despite not having all the answers, he really played like a pro. I thought, keeping it calm, cool the entire time, and I think maybe that's just the energy you have to have when you're playing against when you're playing against Ethan Irwin, just because he is the most stoic player we have ever seen.
Stoic, but like he has a humor, he has a little swag to him too at the same time, right? He's he knows how to put on a show in his own way, right? For me, like the times he was with Jenny the Machine, Jenny kind of brought out something, a bit of a oomph to him, which I always liked, and I miss a bit. But online, as we said before. But yeah, all right. So let's switch. Unless you have other things to say specifically about that match, because it was a blowout.
It wasn't so much a blowout as it was just a series of things going right for Ethan Irwin. I think we're really seeing this is the second time in 3 matches we've seen Catherine Bigelow used for Ethan Irwin. We saw it in the Roca match, and we saw it now. I'll be interested to see what else he has in his tool belt, because I think that is really the thing that it's what makes a great player is having multiple things in their arsenal. And then I think maybe he also revealed another strength, and this also goes to the strategy bit that you were talking about, where Ethan's asking the question when Vinny spins opponent's choice, has Sigourney Weaver ever been spun as a category? And he's like, I don't think so. I don't think it has. Let's go for it. And also just shout out to Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, like get your own category for sure.
Yeah, and like I don't know if there's a category right now, but like people like Ellen Mirren should get their own category. There's a couple of like really, really high important female actresses that should really have their own presence.
All right. I'm gonna pull a soda right here, and I'm just gonna put you on the spot with a question.
All right.
You add Christian Harloff comes to you, says, Frenchie, ever since the Chandra interview, I've loved your style. I want to get you involved To show your commitment to the league, though, I need you to add one category to the wheel. What are you adding?
A category we haven't seen in a long time, or a brand new one?
Brand new category. What is the one category you think should be up there?
I
see why Soda does this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know. It's working my brain. It'd be either one of two things. Either like an actress. I can try to find an actor or an actress per se, but also maybe a different style of question in a form of like, we got your mixed bags, you got your quotes, you got your weapons and vehicles. I think I would go more into those bundled up, because you're not restricting yourself. You're just pulling a type of question. And I think I would have I would do like I forgot what that game is called, where things are connected to each other. Like which three movies are have this specific star, you know? So have something that is always a number type of movies, and you have to associate which actor appears in every one of them.
Okay, yeah, that could be an interesting wrinkle, I think. Yeah.
Or like, I'm just going off the top of my head, but like have more of a specific type question slice than a category.
All right. Yeah, I see that. I like that.
Movie locations, right? Like the estate, or what country, what having like because certain people really excel at that.
As someone who's played a lot of fan league matches and has been screwed over in several matches by what U.S. state does this take place in? And I'm like, is Michigan a state? Is Wyoming a state? I don't know.
Because that's you're Canadian, man.
Exactly. So fuck that. I don't want your movie locations. On to the next thing, Lou.
But if I go for an actor per se, you know what? I think I go for more of an awesome but underrated actor. Like, yeah, you know what? I got it. Supporting character category, or like either supporting character or a character actor. You know, you don't have your Denzels, you don't have, but you have like people. What's his name that plays in Hellboy and now in Star Trek? You know, he does always like creatures, right?
God, Doug Jones.
Yeah, having a category that really specifies on people who plays, you know, very obscure characters, are never in the forefront, but always in the background, because there's a lot of people that follow those careers, and there's a lot of questions we can pull out.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I like it.
What about you?
You know, I didn't expect you to give a whole syllabus for your answer. I'm just going to straight up say I think Studio Ghibli should have its own wheel slice. It barely comes up in animation, which is a crime. And I think those movies, even if you only use the English dubs for the question writing potential, I think I've seen questions about them in the past. So I think there's no reason that Ghibli shouldn't be represented.
No, that is a good one. That's a really good one, actually. You know, maybe also going specific studios like Universal, Warner Bros. No,
I don't know. I think it's okay to like segregate animation. Like I think you could have like, but I think saying Warner Brothers is just so large, because then you're getting to like all the like, this is owned by Warner Brothers, but so like, is it a Warner Brother movie or is it a Blumhouse movie?
Yeah, okay. You would go into the minutia of shit. Yeah. You agree. We have to avoid. Anyways, that being said,
is this a Soda and Dave show, by the way? What the fuck was this tangent? Me and you were all business. What was this?
It's called being high. But yeah, let's go on to the next episode, next matchup. All right, look, okay, this is such an unexpected, and yet
was it?
Yeah, exactly. It's surprising.
Was it?
Yeah, for me it was. And here's my case. Roka is usually more on than off, right? He has his moments, but he's on. And when he usually like has a loss, it might take 2 matches, but usually rebounds pretty fast. He has his confidence. There's things that rolled a bit like a Michael Jordan. You piss him off, he's gonna hit back the next game a lot harder. And if he's disappointed, he'll make up excuses in his head just to destroy the enemy. Roka's a bit the same. Now, I was kind of expecting that to happen, but there's something of Adam Collins' aura and the way he plays that is not completely Ace, the same feeling I got with Ace, but it's similar.
Yeah, I had the privilege earlier this week to sit down with both Daniel and Adam Collins, the man in question. Go check that episode of Northern Consultations out. Available right here. I'll put a link right there.
No, you won't. You're too busy.
Shut up. My fiance's out of town. I have a lot more time on my hands. Anyway. All right, gonna come back and got it. I think and he just has that calm, cool energy about him where I think it can be off-putting, especially just opposed against Shannon's bombastic nature. When you go from Shannon with all this high energy in her promo game to Adam Collins just comes in and is like really calm. It's like, I'm here to play the game. I'm going to answer some questions. And I thought it was really interesting. And I got to disagree with you when you say it wasn't surprising that it happened. It was surprising how it happened. Because Roka's been talking for 3 weeks now, it seems, that he got the toughest play-in match, that Adam Collins could really be the real deal. He's been talking him up a lot on Backstage, SEN, Twitter, everywhere. So a lot of us, and if you go back to, I don't actually think it's on camera. It might be on camera. It might not. Me and Dan predicted this in the last episode of Schmoedown Night in Canada we did, but Roka losing via TKO to a rookie in the first round of a tournament is just unthinkable to me. And I expected, based on all the extraneous things that have been going on, for Roka to lose. I did not expect Roka to lose like this.
No, and you never expect when it's like Mount Rushmore type of people. Like it's surprising when you see a TKO or a KO, right? But again, it's like, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the nostalgia of it. But Roka is Roka, right? He when he's on par, even though you got those people, you're like, oh man, I have the hardest play, and that usually motivates him and makes him even something more dangerous. He has slip ups, and he didn't seem off, right? He seemed ready. I mean, he was good. Something happened during the match that you can see clicked in, but something in my heart was hoping that this wouldn't happen, and I still believed, even though you might have seen signs he kept saying in other shows. But again, it hurts my heart. But he didn't not look like a fool, though. He wasn't completely
no.
He was keeping up the best he can, right?
Yeah, he missed 4 questions the entire match. And it's just a matter of that 9 times out of 10, that'll win you the match. Only missing 4 questions. And going perfect, only checking the multiple choice once in round 2, that'll win you 95% of matches. But when your opponent does not miss, and that's just the thing to say here. Like Adam Collins, 9 for 9, another perfect round in the first round, 8 for 8 in the second round. What are you supposed to do against that, right? There is nothing you can do about that.
But if you go to parallels, it kind of this match specifically kind of felt like the Parker situation, right? He's not missing, he's stealing, he's on point, and then something happened. There's this when you start being perfect, and there's pressure on you being that nothing is leaking type of player, and then doesn't go your way, and you start leaking a bit questions and points, and then you start playing with your head. I hope that doesn't happen with him, because that's what happened to Parker. And if they want to learn, they should put by example. If you're that perfect, that solid, what happens when you're not? Because it's going to happen.
You're still really beat up about that Robert Parker trade.
Oh man, it's just flip my computer, man.
But no, I agree with you, and I think Rocha, though, he, despite the loss, and we're going to obviously talk a lot more about Adam Collins, but despite the loss, Rocha showed why he is a champion. Because looking at the score, when you look at 6-9 after the first round, a lesser player, and we've seen it, and you know what? I'm not a coward. I'll say it. Jeff Snyder would have rolled over and said, I'm done.
He is done, but hey, that's me.
Well, I was going to ask you later. I'll save it. A lesser player would have rolled over and said, I'm down by 3, and then Adam Collins hits his strength, goes perfect, and it's like, what's even the point? And maybe it is Rocha hit his strength, so he's got that extra confidence. But Rocha, unflappable. When he's talking to Dagnino, he has that same confidence that he came into the match with. Like, I'm just here to answer the questions and get the job done.
But see, that's the difference between a pro that knows how almost do PR management, because he probably got yelled at after so many times for if you're not saying the things you should say. But that's someone who knows how to contain your emotions, be respectful, and not, be respectful for the game as much as the other player, and not give a bad impression, right? Because some players do that. They give up, and it kind of looks bad if you're trying to promote a sport and then you have your quarterback just throwing it anywhere because we lost 20 points. The coach is gonna wrangle him, and that's what I feel certain players do. Is Harloff probably does not like to see that, because it's not giving it your all, and he needs people to give it your all. Rocha, I don't know if it's probably past experience or just his logic, rarely does that. And when he does, he comes from a place from his heart and not a place from giving up. It's more like he's hurt he had to perform like that, and not he just doesn't give a crap anymore.
Yeah, Rocha, you can see the passion on his face, because even when he's talking to Tom before he goes in to do his round 3 questions, and Gucci's like, you just gotta make him hit his 5, man. That's all it's gonna take. That's all it's gonna take. You can see the resolve on Rocha's face. At no point does he give up, and that is the mark of a true sportsman and a true, there's been a lot of debate on does Rocha still deserve his spot on Rushmore? Despite this loss, obviously he deserves his spot on Rushmore.
I mean, look.
Is he done, Lou? Is that what you're going to say? Is he done?
At the contrary, listen to when I speak. Did I? No, not at all. Not at all, Dave. He's far from done. He is. The joke about him being as old as Noah's Ark applies in real life, because I don't think he's going to retire. He's going to be in a retirement home and still doing trivia Schmoedown. So, there's something special about this guy. He loves the game so much that if we don't see him in one capacity, he's still going to be involved, I'm sure, in some capacity. But he's not done, and he still deserves a place in Mount Rushmore, because he is relevant. He is as dangerous. He knows how to adapt. When most players gave up, when the game was changing too much, he is one of the rare people who adapted to the new style game, and I have a feeling is smart enough and knowledgeable enough and loves Schmoedown enough to adapt again if needed be. But he has to understand what he's adapting to, and I think that this is the case. He has to recheck his strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with you, but let's not lose the plot, not the plot, but the big story here. Adam Collins, you know, didn't come up in the interview, but you know, former fan league player, his former team's partner, my current team's partner in
let me correct you. It is no more fan leagues, my friend. Let's show us some respect and the other leagues, Dave. Okay.
Okay, I apologize. You know, this guy doesn't even play in the leagues. He thinks he can tell me how to play. Just call it Adam Cook. You know, just saying.
I'm just saying, like this is the request from them, most of them. So let's respect it. It's the other leagues.
All right. Adam Collins, from doing all this stuff elsewhere in a play-in match. Very strong showing in the play-in match, but TKOs a man who, through all intents and purposes, built the game the way. Like as much as clear, Harloff and Ellis came up with this over pizza 7 years ago. Roca and what Roca represents built the Schmoedown that we all love. So Adam Collins coming in, and I'm really mad that we had that episode, and I asked him, what would beating Roca mean for your legacy? He knew he won, and he said, oh, it would be nice. But
yeah, he's like, a slick one. He's a real slick one.
He's so slick. He's like a coyote. You can't get him. Oh, the name. But Adam Collins. So what do you make of this? It's not, all right, you had one good match. We now have two really strong showings from Adam Collins, and a win over a highly sought after rookie in Andre Scaligo, someone who had a lot of promise, and over a legend in John Roca.
Yeah, I mean, again, and I think it's not the first time I'm saying on, like I said it before, there's something ace-ish about the situation, right? That you got a rookie that you can see some things happening, and every match ongoing, it's accumulating. It's not stagnating, right? Something improves every time, and you can see that they almost have a champion mentality, that je ne sais quoi, that you can't really understand why, but you just feel like they are made to be on the top of the food chain. And that's what he gives off to me in a very stoic and respectful way, which is, again, odd for Corruption. He's not gonna, if this is the first time watching the show, I'm not gonna hide it. I am not the biggest Corruption fan, but I'm a fan of Adam Collins, to be honest.
And I wasn't on the latest episode of Northern Consultations that we did. Check that out with Chance Ellison next week. I am a born-again Corruption fan. I'm sorry I left the fold at any point. I have been very vocal. The first fantasy league way back in season 5, the first person I ever drafted was Mike Kalinowski. The first Schmoedown Pro I ever had an interaction with was Mike Kalinowski. And I can't believe I ever walked away from Corruption. But I'm back. People keep asking me if I'm back. I'm thinking I'm back, Lou. I'm back in Corruption. And Adam Collins just further cements that. He's such an incredible force in both. He's a different character. He's not someone like your Andrew Guy or your Video Drew or even your John Roca. He's such a, on paper, you would say, well, he's like Ethan Irwin, very calm, stoic, but he's totally different. And I know he's like,
I find he's like, and it's kind of like funny is on Corruption. I find he's like Chance.
Yeah, Chance without the cockiness, though, because I feel like if you replace Chance's cockiness with a silent respect, I think you get Adam Collins, and longer hair, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So that being said, if you don't mind, I don't know if you remember, who is Adam Collins going up next?
So I was actually going to bring this up because we're going to be wrapping up the show soon. I think it's relevant to talk about who both Ethan and Adam Collins are going to be playing against next. Adam Collins is going to be going up against Lon Harris, the delinquent. Could there be more diametrically opposed characters? Both drifters, but
yeah, Lon Harris for me.
a lot of times I have to go with experience when two things are equal. But I think if you're saying that he has a lot of ace upside, beating Rocco's ace beating Ken Knapsack, I think Lon will be like ace beating Laura Kelly.
Okay, like again, it seems like I'm almost contradicting myself, but Lon Harris, I don't know, he's on a roll, and if there's one person not to be shaken up, it would be maybe Lon Harris. I don't know. This is what my gut feels, but at the same time, you're right. You're right. There's something you cannot deny from Adam Collins, and I said it before. So it's a toss up. Right now, I say Lon Harris, but in 5 minutes, I might say Adam Collins because it's that tight and that that kitty, man. It's that tight and it's that equal in potential, right?
Yeah, I think it comes down for me to what we talked about with Ethan. Lon is famously he's a guy who puts up 7 points, the occasional 8 with the bonus. Adam Collins has not missed in the first round yet. And it's that level in the first round. I think that's going to make the difference. I think they're both very strong in the second round. We're yet to see what Collins can do in the third round. But Lon Harris is a guy who even in the heyday of the Harris brothers, I'm almost done, buddy. In the heyday of the Harris brothers, he's always struggled to pull together a series of wins. And I think Adam Collins is a guy who I don't think he's going to have that issue.
Yeah, and you're probably very right too. And like, hey, we'll see. Right now, I put 60% Lon Harris, 40% Adam Collins for me. If you put oddwise, but again, with the confidence he had in the performance against Roca, that might change very fast in my head. But we'll see. And for the next matchup, what do we got?
It's Ethan Irwin going up against another dungeon head, Eric Zipper. This is emotional for me, Lou.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like it's going to come down to that second round. Zipper is a guy who puts up 6 rounds every time. He's at 6 points every time in the first round. But if he hits a strength, and he's been training harder than anyone else, I think, this season, I think he will give Irwin a run for his money, and it's going to come down to that 5-pointer.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I just finished talking.
All right, sorry, my girlfriend's talking to me. But yeah, and I lost my train of thought. My bad.
Irwin or Zipper? Sorry, 1 second.
Oh yeah. For Irwin Zipper.
What do you do?
Fuck. It keeps flipping because Irwin, again, you need like Pixar, right? Something a bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Zipper, everything riding on his shoulders might suit him.
Yeah, because he is the dungeon's last hope.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Ethan is the usual suspect's last hope.
This is the battle of the last hope.
It truly is, and neither one of them is in last. That place is reserved for the Burning Droogs currently. But Lou, I'm going to put you on the spot. I think Ethan Irwin wins it on his 5. We have to wrap up the show. These things can't go on forever. Who wins, Ethan Irwin or Eric Z-Man Zipper? Keep in mind, one of them has been a guest on this show. The other has not.
Oh, please.
I didn't even vote that way.
Zipper. I don't know why. I keep thinking about it. Zipper's face comes in winner right now.
What kind of backwards world are we living where I picked Ethan Irwin and you picked Eric Zipper? I don't know what it is, Lou, but I'm loving this world. I love it.
Very good. All right.
We're already running long. I'm going to cut that.
All right. So like I said before, he cuts my voice or puts a pig head on my body or something. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up right there. All right. So thank you very much today for your time. For the people who stuck to the end, hey, you the best. Don't forget to like, subscribe, notifications. If people want to find you, where can they find you, Dave?
They can find me at Leaves Me Alone on Twitter, but I'm a terrible follow. Don't follow me there. You can, but for a better follow, go subscribe to Schmoes of the North on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Northern Schmoes and join our Facebook page at Schmoes of the North. Canadian-run Schmoedown fan page. You don't have to be Canadian. You just don't have to be a dick.
Yeah, and you can find me, like you said, on Northern Schmo. That's my main Twitter, to be honest with you. And you can also find me under Louis Minot on Facebook. You can, if you don't know how to spell my name, hey, don't sweat it. Like you said, go on the Facebook page. You'll see my mug. Click on and add. That being said, thank you very much again for your time, and you have a beautiful night. Bye bye.
Have a beautiful bye.